Hey guys, I'm back on the old Stairmaster, and I'm just thinking, today I'm not training, and I'm doing the Stairmaster, which overlooks the entire gym. So I've been noticing how people train, and I've just been observing, and I see a couple of my buddies, and they started training, but when I started training 3 years ago or so, whenever. But anyway, the same approximate time, and I know for a fact that I train a lot different now than I do back then. And I noticed that most people, they don't change their training, you know? They just stick to one thing. 3 years later, they're still doing the same thing, making the same mistakes. And I'm not saying that I train perfectly, because I know, guaranteed, that I will not be training the way I am now in 3 years from now. Because in 3 years from now, I'll have a lot more experience, I'll be a lot smarter, and I'll have learned from my mistakes. You know, going into a show, you become very aware of your flaws. And I try to do everything I can to improve them, so I can carry over the same things that I learn on my contest prep into the off season and really apply them when I'm actually building the muscle up. That's why I really enjoyed the journey of competing, because it's a time where you can be really focused on learning your own body. And that's what it all comes down to, you know? Every champion had their own style of training. Mike Menser trained with his heavy duty principles, which basically involved, you know, one working set to failure, and then and training, you know, once every 4 to 7 days. Whereas nowadays, you can see champions like Phil Heath, you know, Jason Hunt training twice a day with, you know, a different style of form, different style of, you know, just an entire different style of training. And, you know, Arnold trained 4 hours a day, you know, Dorian trained 45 minutes a day. So who's to say what doesn't work? I think that any training method will work as long as you're progressing, and not just progressing in weight increments. You know, you add 5 pounds on your squat, that's fucking great, but doesn't necessarily mean you're going to be progressing like that forever. So you got to find other ways to progress, and also progress by becoming smarter, training smarter. So not only training harder, but training smarter every single time. And what I'm focusing on is making sure every workout counts, because this is my year. This is my year, because I'm making sure that I make it happen. When I get on stage, I'll look like what I expect from what I visualize, and how I plan everything to be like that. Then after this year, I'm gonna take a year off probably from competing. Start my way from the ground up in the men's open. I appreciate everyone's support. Everybody who buys my videos, everybody who watches my YouTube videos, everybody who comments, every hater. You know, it's motivation for me. My fans are motivation for me. Like Kai Green said, you know, this is my life and I'm living it.